Junkie on the track.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, the sexy and the not so sexy, welcome to adventure number 1 of the Adventures of a Naive Poet, where I information share, do my best attempt at building the culture. The culture meaning the culture of artistry, writing, emceeing, the culture of poetry, screenplay writers, whatever your talent is, musician, whatever your talent is, this is me exercising my brand, my personality, my art, my talent. I am loaning it to the game in honor to bring us together. I'm trying to bring us together through testimony. Okay. Adventure number 1 deals with the lane of poetry. Well, it also deals with the lane of emceeing as well. And it has to do with everything I mentioned right at the top, right? Adventure number 1 is titled Speaking Out. Speaking Out. And as artists, especially poets and MCs, we have, do you hear that crows outside? We have this kind of crossroads moment, right? We have this crossroads moment where somewhere in our spirit, somewhere inside of us, deep inside of us, we decide that we are good enough to speak out. Now, this decision isn't just based in vanity, like, oh, I hear myself rapping, I hear myself mumbling this poetry, I see this poetry on the paper, and I feel like I'm that dude. No. There's something inside of us that also, there's vanity there because we feel we're good enough to speak. Or at least we hope we are, right? But there's something passionate in us that is dying to share. All right? There's something in us that feels like we have something to say. And it may be maybe speaking on an event, or maybe speaking on some type of trauma, maybe speaking from the angle, which my angle is always, hey, I learned something crazy. Hey, did you guys know this? I love the information share. I love to information share. Okay? And there's something passionate in us that we make the decision to go on an adventure and speak out. I figured this would be a great place to start, right? Okay, so along with the adventure title, I'm going to give you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes at home, I'm going to give you the naive notion of what I had walking into the adventure, okay? And my naive notion I had walking into speaking out was that abstract thoughts will translate across to the masses. So, which makes today's word transposing. Transposing. A lot of artists do this, especially early in their manifesto. And I did this, okay? So I am a weird artist, and I say this not as kind of a knock to myself or anything like that, but I know I am not like most guys in my Michael Jackson Thriller voice, okay? I know I'm different. I know I'm cut a little bit different. I know I think a little bit different. I was always a little left of center, okay? I was always the nerd among thugs. All of that, right? Okay. So, but when artists like myself we are in our own head, I'm saying lines in my head that I think everybody are just going to understand. Especially because these words are near and dear to my heart. Okay? So, on this particular adventure, it wasn't that I was abstract. My first speaking out adventure was really in the midst of rap, in the midst of like battling, you know. Shout out to Vaughn, shout out to Velman, shout out to Kenyatta. Me and Vaughn were in the same shop class, okay? So, you know, I'd be rapping at the back tables in school all the time, rapping and rapping and rapping, and my man used to just make a beat on the table, beatbox, whatever, and I'm just rapping and rapping. And my first school battle was instigated by the people. Vaughn, I love you, my brother, but this guy was so confident in my ability, all right, that Vaughn was always egging me on to battle people. Vaughn always wanted me to battle somebody, and ain't nothing wrong with that. I say this with love, okay? So, he's like, yeah, man, Deva B. I battled this kid named Deva B. Where is Deva B nowadays? I wonder if he's watching. Anyway, Deva was short. You probably figured this out at home. Deva was short for devastating. Okay? I don't know what his real name was. I'm sure the B has something to do with his real name. Byron, who knows what his name was, but his MC name was Deva B. My MC name at the time was Serge, the SERG, the suave, enhanced, rhyming genius, okay? I got this name from Sergio Valentes. Everybody was wearing the Sergio glasses and the gazelles. I thought Sergio was a cool name. I hated my name Lamont. I love my name now. But back then, you know, the freaking 15-year-old me was like, what the fuck is a Lamont? I'm Serge. Call me Serge. Sergio was way cooler than me. Whatever. So my first speaking out was in a battle in the lunchroom. I won the battle. That was dope. But there are levels. There are levels. So my venture in speaking out with poetry was different, which has to deal with the naive notion. So, but I had to give you that first adventure with Deva B to give the main story context. Okay? Adventure 1, speaking out, my naive notion, abstract thoughts will translate to the masses. So here I am, flash forward maybe a decade plus. I'm 30 or so, right? No more 16-year-old rapper. Did a lot of stages, opened up and headlined for maybe some of your favorite rappers out there. And forget all that. There's a changing of the guard. It's a new day. Biggie and Tupac are gone. Hip hop is trying to find itself. I'm trying to find myself in the realm of poetry. I want to speak out. Now, I've been on hip hop stages which are not friendly at all. Okay? Poetry stages are incredibly more forgiving than a hip hop stage. But I was not necessarily scared to perform on a poetry stage, but at this this point in this era, this was me. This is an adventure of my first time speaking out. And I was speaking out at a pretty big place. My first speaking time to speak out was at Cat's Cafe in Atlanta on Piedmont. I would later become the host of Cat's Cafe's Poetry Night, but this is early Graffiti Bleu. This is early. So I was passionate about it, but the poem itself didn't hit the way I wanted it to hit. And it was because I was too abstract. The poem at the time was called Just I See Justice, one of my earliest poems. And I was on some depressed, slightly suicidal, angry, used to be a rapper shit, okay? So the first line was like, well, the first few lines were like, as the ice came down and flame found its stride in the Christmas chimney, I laid ink in cursive to the fallen white. Next level, I embrace you in the company of an old friend. I travel lifeless through the cosmic energy of my rival survival. I lay deep inside despair's pit, gazing at the hole in my punctured heart. I lay deeper into the abyss and see the bottom of a wastebasket filled with crumpled paper. Knowledge peeks through the folds, revealing life lessons. I learned that inspiration can sometimes uninspire. I learned better flow when I stopped apologizing. I learned that there was no point in housing a soul without a voice. I felt the warmth of humility and the icy fingers of betrayal. Lost old friends and gained new ones. I learned how to shut the fuck up and listen. Finally, pause here. Adventure 1 of The Adventures of a Naive Poet. My naive notion was that abstract thoughts will translate to the masses. The audience fucked with me at Cat's Cafe, but I didn't get the response that I wanted to get because I was trapped in my own head. I was transposing. There's today's word again, transposing. I felt I was transposing myself onto them. In my head, this was some dope shit, so I put that on them. If I think it's dope, of course you think it's dope, but that was not the case. That was not the case. So, to me, the bars are easy to break down, all right? As the ice came down and flame found its stride in the Christmas chimney, I wrote this piece. It was a couple days before Christmas, all right? I was next to the fireplace, the Christmas chimney. There was an ice storm. So the ice came down and flame found its stride in this Christmas chimney. Made sense to me. Of course it did, because I was there. But I am trying to appeal to the masses. Get it? My naive notion. I got trapped in my own head. I laid ink in cursive to the fallen white. That's the second line. I laid ink in cursive to the fallen white. Makes sense to me. I was writing with a ballpoint pen. I laid ink in cursive. I write in cursive script. I was writing this poem. To the fallen white. Fallen white in my head is a double entendre because I'm talking about the ice, the snow falling from the sky is fallen white, and fallen white is also the dead tree that is my piece of paper. Makes perfect sense to me in my brain. But I am transposing myself onto others. You understand where I'm going from this? I'm not going to break down every line. That's not what this video blog is about. This video blog is about adventures and naive notions. And hopefully through information sharing, we will build an infrastructure together so that we can make each other stronger. There's no way we're going to make it, ladies and gentlemen. All of the artists that are watching this, it will be very difficult if we are divided. You have a lot of strong poets and they have a lot of dope platforms, but none of these artists really fuck with each other like that. My goal is to hopefully stop that by sharing, by information sharing, through testimony and also having interviews. So what I'm going to do is I've been reaching out behind the scenes, and I've been talking to other poets. I've been talking to them, giving them a call, sending them emails and whatnot, and I've been asking them to come on. So I will be having them share their testimony via Zoom, via Skype, whatever, and say, hey, they tell me about your adventures as well, and give me a naive notion that you had. But I wanted to do this. I wanted to get these bars off. I wanted to do adventure number 1 to kind of let you guys know how it works. So what's the moral of the freaking story then, Graffiti? I learned, the naive notion, right, was that abstract thoughts might not appeal to the masses. And that's not entirely true, because you have some deep poetry guys and girls that really listen to poetry, and they won't even be watching me perform, moving my arms and doing all this and doing all that. They will just kind of put their head down and just listen to the words and interpret the poetry for themselves. Some people hate when you go back and explain a poem because it's a piece of art, and the artist interprets it one way and the audience will interpret it their own way. Some people hate when you explain the freaking poem because they like to try to interpret it themselves. This is dope. But for the majority of the poetry community, the hip-hop community, or what have you, it's good to have those intricate double entendres, triple entendre lines, but for all intents and purposes, if you want to appeal to a larger audience, at some point, some of your art should be for them. Not saying you should dumb it down. I'm saying you should smarten up and find a way to communicate to the masses. So there's a difference. What I learned, the moral of this story, is you don't have to dumb down the art. You just have to smarten up your communicative IQ. Do you understand this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, sexy, not so sexy, big children, little children, whoever? You don't got to dumb down shit. So if you play in a small room with a whole bunch of eclectic artsy types, sure, you can be like, when the ice came down and flame found its stride of the Christmas chimney, you could go into those intricate pockets. You could go deep as you want to go, my brothers and sisters. But if you're playing a big stage, if you were doing America's Got Talent like Brandon Leak, and you're trying to win the whole shebang, if you're speaking at the next black president's inauguration, okay, and you're the keynote speaker at some very prestigious sidebar. One of the highlights of my career was speaking for the Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey. Yes, I did that. And the bars that I chose for that particular venue were not dumbed down. I was playing to the audience. I smartened up. I understood who I was speaking for. Sometimes when my phone rings and somebody wants me to speak somewhere, one of my first questions to them is, paint a picture for me. Can you paint a picture for me? Can you tell me what the audience is like? What are we dealing with? Am I going to have to compete with alcohol? If people are drinking and it's a bar setting and people are, drunk and having fun, maybe a little bit ratchet, maybe a little bit loud, whatever, then I know what bars I'm going to have to bring to this spot. I'm going to have to be loud. I'm going to have to be direct. I might have to be super angry to get their attention. But if I'm performing for the Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey, It might be a unity bar. It may be let's keep together. It may be black power. It may be something different. Know your audience. Go inside your bag. Okay? That's it for adventure number 1. These are not going to be very long. I'll state my point. Here it is. This is the game. This is what it is. This is what I learned. And I give the game to you. Give back. Like this video. Share this video. Subscribe to the channel. We got 1,000 subscribers on the channel. I think maybe 1,100 actually. We're trying to up that where our goal, the next milestone will be 2,000 subscribers. Okay? This is a niche market. Alright? Some of the videos might have 500 views, 1,000 views, 2,000 views. Some of the videos may have 50 views. That's fine. I know I'm a poet and I know I'm weird. It's all gravy, baby. However, if you are an artist or you appreciate the art, help the art and give back to the art by liking the video, sharing the video, commenting on the video. When you comment, it shakes up the algorithm. Alright? It puts me in a different Tumblr. So I'm more likely to show up on other people who love the arts feed when they scroll, okay? That's all I gotta do. That's all I gotta say for today. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. gbleu.com is still under construction. This website is gonna be bomb. It's been down for like 3 months. Shout out to Phaedra Dion. I am patiently waiting for gbleu.com to be back up so that we can get to work. 2022, we got a lot of shit to do. See ya when I see ya.